Entire India, only Northeast is a place where we get to see a ape species, that is the hologibbon. You can develop, you keep on developing. Like in many countries like Netherlands, they are progressing in a sustainable way.
Yes.
Their solution is not like that to build a house or build a building or construct a flyover, you need to cut a tree. You enter the forest, you start seeing birds. Now you enter the forest, you don't see anything. I'm seeing very less number of burn swallows below the flyovers. Deepavali is getting a pressure from human settlements, and all these waste from human settlements are going to Deepavali. So we need to think in that way also. I blame everything on humans. Like, we like to see animals in TV, but we don't like to see them around.
India recorded over 1,000 bird species during the Great Backyard Bird Count 2025, with Assam contributing 420 bird species, 38.78% of the total. But behind these numbers lies a growing crisis. Wildlife populations have dropped by 73% globally since 1970. Deepavali is losing migratory birds due to urbanization and pollution, while vultures face mass deaths from secondary poisoning. So what's causing these threats and how can we fix them? In this video, we will be speaking with an environmentalist, Dr. Nilutpal Mahanta, for expert insights. So hi Nilutpal sir,
Hi,
welcome
hi.
to IndiaTodayNE. And
Thank you.
First tell me about yourself.
Okay, so I have been working in the sector of wildlife and wildlife conservation and wildlife research from almost last 14 years. And my whole forte of my interest lies in birds. At the same time, I'm interested, and I have worked with other animals also in Northeast India. And along with that, I have also worked in areas in Central India. And mostly my focus is in conservation and research of wildlife, especially birds.
Okay. And when I first texted you,
Yeah.
I was asking you about this Great Backyard Bird Count 2025, where
Yes,
Assam
yes.
has contributed 420 bird species.
Yes.
So can you enlighten me on this?
So, okay, the Great Backyard Bird Count, that was a global event. Basically, we call it as a citizen science approach. So, what is a citizen science approach is that here any citizen, being the part from science or not from the background of science, he can contribute towards scientific research. He or she can contribute towards scientific research. And how that is being done? Just we encourage people to look for different wildlife, or basically in Great Backyard Bird Count, it is for birds. So we encourage people to look birds around their campuses, around their houses, and put all those information in a common app. It is called as the eBird, or a platform called as the eBird portal. And this eBird portal is basically governed by Cornell University. And that is the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. And in that program, so basically India took a great part, and Assam came, I think, Assam was at the third position in India. And at the interval of 4 days, we counted almost 400 species. And that was a big achievement for all the e-birders or all the birders or all wildlife enthusiasts in Northeast India and in Assam.
And despite the high counts, why is there has been some kinds of reports suggesting that there has been a decline in bird population in Assam specifically?
Okay, so as I have already said that 400 species we saw, but to add on to that, that is just around 45% of what birds we have in Assam. So all throughout the year, or all throughout almost like 40-50 years last, we have encountered more than 800 species of birds in Assam. And in Northeast India together, it is more than 900 species. Okay. And to astonish you with the fact that Assam almost has, like, India's total bird species is around 1200 species. India has 1200 species of birds, and among them 900 species are found in Northeast India and 800 are found in Assam. That's a huge number.
Yes.
And on Great Backyard Bird Count, we saw around 400 species for around that interval of 3-4 days. But still, due to human activities or anthropogenic causes, species are facing a lot of troubles, specifically regarding...
Like what kind of troubles?
So basically, human population is the main factor that is affecting from all the sides. So human population is expanding, or you can say it's bombarding. And as our population is increasing, we are expanding our areas into natural areas. So we are occupying more of natural habitats. So you can say, in a way, we are encroaching into wildlife areas. and because we need food also. So for agriculture, for our survival or for our staying purposes, we are expanding our cities, are expanding our villages into natural habitats. And in this process, we are basically we are fragmenting forests, we are fragmenting natural forests which has been existing from thousands of years. And also we are coming in between wildlife corridors. We are blocking wildlife corridors, so especially like animals like elephants and other carnivores. So they need to keep on moving in larger areas. So we are fragmenting those areas. And also at the same time, as you all aware about pollution. So India we are running at a very good speed in the entire world in terms of pollution. And especially in Assam and especially in Guwahati, due to a lot of developmental activities happening at the same time, we are facing a lot of trouble with the pollution. So these are some of the factors. And earlier hunting was a factor, but now hunting is not a direct factor, but we have many more indirect factors where the results are not being seen directly, but it is happening indirectly, and the results now are quite visible. Like India definitely has a very strong Wildlife Protection Act, but despite of that, many people yet do not know, or they are not aware of this Protection Act, or many people think that their forefathers have been hunting. So and again many people also say this, they say this, that there are many birds. What will happen if I hunt only one? So if everyone thinks in that context, then definitely it's not only one bird you are hunting. Altogether we are hunting hundreds and millions of birds. So I can take the example of Amur falcons in Nagaland, and also they are nowadays seen in Assam also. So once upon a time in Nagaland, so Amur falcons were hunted in millions. So now, due to positive conservation efforts, their populations are now doing well. So hunting has reduced now.
Is Guwahati weather is becoming more uncomfortable for the birds, specifically migratory birds?
Okay. So, like Kamrup Metro or Kamrup district is blessed with 18 reserve forests. I'd like to say like 19 reserve forests. And Guwahati Metro itself, we have more than 7-8 reserve forests. And altogether this reserve forests, and we have 2 wildlife sanctuaries also, Amchang Wildlife Sanctuary, Deeporville Wildlife Sanctuary. So all these wildlife sanctuaries and reserve forests, so basically they clean our air. So we may think that these are just forests, why don't we clear and make townships and malls there? But it is not like the case. Basically they are purifying the air for us, the air still we are breathing. And wetlands like Deeporville, they are basically filtering the water. So you can say these reserve forests are the lungs of the city, and these wetlands are the kidney of the city. But the thing is that, like human body, we also have certain limitations. We can't go beyond certain point. And at the same time, this forest also have some kind of limitations that don't hurt us beyond this point. So now if you go to reserve forests like Garbhanga, so earlier, once upon a time, Garbhanga was like you enter the forest, you start seeing birds. Now you enter the forest, you don't see anything. You'll have to go far beyond inside, in the deep forest, then only you will see something. Like this Garbhanga Reserve Forest, they are home to endangered hollow gibbons.
Okay.
Hollow gibbons are only ape found in India. So in international televisions, we see gorillas, we see chimpanzees. And we think that these animals exist in different countries. But we are also blessed. In entire India, only Northeast is a place where we get to see a ape species, that is the hollow gibbon. And these pollutions are affecting these animals. Like we are not sure, like we have not tested any animals, but still we are unsure, and their populations are declining because of this human-induced pollutions.
See, once actor Adil Hussain has raised his voice regarding this, like cutting the trees, that in other countries also, they do construction work without hampering the nature.
True.
What would you like to say on that?
See, during the time of COVID, we could understand the value of an oxygen cylinder, right? So COVID has passed, so it's like 4 years, and we have forgot already that what is the importance of oxygen cylinders. So it is the basic necessity for survival. We need it. Now thing is that we have 2 options. Either you destroy everything, build like buildings and structures and put artificial air purifiers like China once did, or you adopt the other way, you can develop, you keep on developing. Like in many countries like Netherlands, they are progressing in a sustainable way.
Yes.
They are adopting green technologies. So you can, but solution is not like that to build a house or build a building or construct a flyover, you need to cut a tree. You can find out alternatives. So we need more landscape experts, we need more landscape scientists, and also we need like our development organizations, they actually need to include people who are from these backgrounds, who have a knowledge of environment, who has knowledge of ecology, who has knowledge of wildlife, so that their input can do a better, like their development can be in a more sustainable way. You know, earlier in Guwahati city, if we look at the flyovers, below the flyovers, there used to be barn swallows, the tiny bird. If you have ever waited below a flyover, you will see they keep on flying above your head like rockets. So these are tiny, small barn swallows. But very surprisingly, in last 1 year, I'm seeing very less number of barn swallows below the flyovers. So basically, under the flyovers, they construct their nest. And they were adapting to human, like they were adapting to anthropogenic structures, like buildings and structures. But what is happening to them? So now their populations are, I'm not saying population is declining, but I'm saying we are seeing less number of barn swallows under these flyovers. Maybe like there's some kind of change in the air, some kind of change in the atmosphere.
Okay, and also coming to birds again.
Yeah.
So there are reports that suggesting that why are fewer migratory birds are coming to Deeporville. Do you have any idea on that?
So, you know, like Deeporville is, what I would like to say is that I feel very sometimes emotional about Deeporville, because when I started my wildlife journey back in 2011, during that time when we used to visit Deeporville, and before also like when in our graduation time, so we used to go to Deeporville as a field study sites. So we used to see like in Deeporville during winters, we don't used to get a clear view of the water because it was full with birds. So you can't see a clean, like not clear area where you will see water. It's basically full with birds. Now to see birds, you will have to go on the boat to the core area where the birds are aggregated. So the thing is that why this change is happening, the reason is that what I believe is that that's completely my opinion. I'm not putting any, blaming anyone. So basically, you know, pollutions are coming from everywhere. So, you know, pollutants leach with water. So they get mixed with water, and all these runoff waters from different industries are getting into Deeporville. First thing, the water is getting polluted. So now if you stand near Deeporville, you will see when the water basically hits the shore with the wind, so making small waves, you will see froths coming up on the surface of the water. So basically these are pollutants, and time to time we get to see like many dead fishes floating on the water. So one first thing, then second is that human settlements. So human settlements are coming up in Deeporville from all the sides. So anthropogenically, Deeporville is getting a pressure from human settlements, and all these waste from human settlements are going to Deeporville. So we need to think in that way also, because if we lose this forest and if we lose this Deeporville, so Guwahatians are going to face a lot of troubles regarding water and pure air. The first step is that we need to make it pollution free. So like many agricultural activities are happening around, so we need to check that if pesticides are coming into those fields, if the pesticides are leaching into water or not. So we need to keep on monitoring the water time to time. So I think so there should be a permanent station, resource station or a lab where people can keep on checking the water quality there. Because any important wetland, if you talk about any development nation, so they keep this kind of labs or centers where they keep on checking this water qualities first. Then second would be to reduce the human pressure. You know, like unorganized developments in those areas are going to be a trouble. So again, I'm saying, so I'm not against development, but we need to think in a sustainable, more sustainable way. Then second is that, you know, many more industries are coming up around Deeporville. So many godowns are there around Deeporville. So I'm not saying these godowns are depositing anything in Deeporville, but whatever they are putting outside, so basically it leaches with the water, and then it gets mixed with the water of the Deepor Bill. So we need to check those, like already I have mentioned 3 steps. And secondly, we need to make people aware that why we need to conserve this area. Don't touch this. You need to be like, stop there and protect it. So I request the government to intervene in those things and save this area from losing. And it's the only Ramsar site in Assam.
Okay, so are there any kind of current laws and administrative action that should people be aware of?
See, there are many more laws are there in India, and I'd like to say like India has such strict laws which many countries does not have, like Indian Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Then we have Air Act, Water Act. Basically, these are for stopping pollution. So we have many more acts. So
But
it's not
no
the
one
time
is
to
following
bring
them.
more acts. It's the time to enact more stronger ways. We are not early humans that we need to hunt animal and eat. We know how to grow, we know how to cultivate, and many more other options are available. So many people do it for some, I can understand some might do it for hunger, but that's very negligible. Majority does it for fun. So that has to be stopped and people needs to be made aware. And here comes the role of organizations. So I request organizations that, yeah, making money is an important aspect, but along with that, please take some social responsibilities to aware people about this acts. Acts are there. I am not saying that we need many more new acts. Acts are already there, and strong. It's getting stronger and stronger day by day. Only the thing is that we need to make people aware that these are the rules and these are the acts.
There will be punishment.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you also raised your voice regarding this mass vulture death.
Yes.
So you also mentioned that secondary poisoning. Can you tell me more about that? What is that?
Yes. So, you know, like I have been raising my voice for this mass killing of vultures since 2020s. So, the first incident what shook me was the incident that happened in Kamrup, in Soigaon
What
area.
was that?
So, there were around 100 vultures died due to poisoning incident. So, coming to secondary poisoning, first I'd like to say how vultures actually decline across India. So, you know, there are certain chemical compounds which are there in drugs used for cattle. So, those chemical compounds are lethal to drugs. So, lethal to vultures. So, those some of the chemical compounds which we which Indian scientists has found, these are like diclofenac, ketoprofen, acylofenac. So, like Indian government has already has banned these drugs for veterinary use. Like diclofenac was banned in 2006, and all other drugs were banned in 3 other drugs, the ketoprofen, then acylofenac. These 2 drugs were banned in 2023. So government is doing their part. So many organizations came up like with the research and findings and suggested government that ban these drugs. So government is doing their part, and these drugs were solely responsible for this mass population decline of vultures. So basically, what happens is that when a drug has been induced in a cattle's body, when the cattle is in like heavy pain, so if the cattle dies in that moment, and if the animal carcass is left open left in the open areas for vultures to feed on, and if vultures eat those carcasses, so basically in the initial days that chemical compound remains within the carcass soft tissues.
Okay.
So if somehow if those chemicals enters the digestive system of the vultures, it starts to create gouts in its body and renal failures. And slowly within a span of 20 days, 15, 20 days in a month, the vulture starts to die. So that we all know, like entire India now knows that diclofenac is the root cause, and also these new drugs, they are the root cause behind mass population decline of vultures. But in Assam, we are having a new problem here. So that new problem is that secondary poisoning. So why we are naming this as secondary poisoning is that here people's intention is not to kill the vultures. So basically what they do is that many cattle owners or many people who has this livestock at their home, so when some stray dogs or other wildlife or other predatory animal kill those livestock at their home, So they feel retaliation, they feel anger within them. So because livestock is a property for them, and some stray dogs or some other carnivorous animal, if they are killing their livestock, they feel anger. So it's quite natural. Now in retaliation, what they do is that they put some kind of chemicals, poisons on those carcasses, and they keep it open in a intention to kill those dogs or maybe the carnivores who has killed the livestock, without understanding that this carcass may be also may be eaten by animals like vultures or kites or other eagles or crows. And eventually, if it happens, the vultures die. So now these kind of chemicals like quite easily available in the market. So there is a ban on diclofenac, but banning these chemicals are problematic because these are pesticides. So those are commonly used in agricultural practices. So people take these pesticides and they put over this dead livestock, and eventually the vultures come, they feed on them, and the vultures die. So these kind of incidents are happening, and in the last one decade, more than 1,000 vultures died due to secondary poisoning in Assam. And in this year, in last few days, 2 incidences happened in Polasbari area in Kamrup. And also this has been happening repetitively. And here I'm not blaming entirely the people, because their intention is not to kill the vultures. But whatever is they are doing, that is also wrong. So whatever their intention might be, that is also wrong, because they are putting poison on a carcass that can kill any animal. And killing killing animals in that way would be punishable offense in all sort of laws. If it is a wildlife, it will be under Wildlife Protection Act, or if it is like Animal Cruelty Act, it can go under Animal Cruelty Act. So many acts are there for punishments. But rather than punishing people, the more importance would be to make them aware that this kind of activities can go in a wrong direction. And if it goes in a wrong direction, then we will be held responsible. Because Assam has a strong population of one of the last remaining population of slender-billed vultures. In Assamese, it is called as Lahithutia Hogun or Tamuli Hogun. It's the tallest one in Assam. Like it has a slender body and a long neck and a longer beak. So these vultures are surviving in this part of India. They have nesting populations in Upper Assam and in some parts of Central Assam also. But the problem is that in other vulture species found in India, like white-rump vultures, Himalayan griffon vultures, and Eurasian griffon vulture, then red-headed vulture, the white-rump vultures. All these vultures are their population are mostly also found in other parts of India. But this slender-billed vulture, they have a strong population here in Assam. So they are not found in Central India. Some parts in Uttarakhand, in Terai area, they are found, and mostly in Assam. So if this species gets extinct, then it will be a shame for us, for the people of Assam, said we could not do anything. So I get sometimes emotional about this species. That's why I am on a quest now that by hook or crook, this species has to be bring back. So we need to be responsible, otherwise it will be at a blink. So maybe in 30-40 years, we'll tell our kids that there was a species called slender-billed vulture. I don't want that east to go to where it was.
Okay, so have you identified any of those areas where these incidents are being reported?
So though exactly I will not say like areas these and this, but mostly those incidences those happen are like in Kamrup. Some of the districts, one is Kamrup, then in Sibsagar, Tinsukia, Dibrugarh, Dhemaji, Dhokwakhana, those areas, those poisoning incidences are happening. And it is happening more in Kamrup and Sibsagar.
Okay.
And I believe maybe because they have a good population in Sibsagar, those areas, but I'm not sure about why they are dying here in Kamrup. Why only in Kamrup? But if I talk about Upper Assam, So slender-billed vultures nesting population is there in those areas. So that might be a reason, because they are roaming around those areas. At the same time, this lesser adjutant storks, their populations are also declining because of the possible reason is that in reducing the number, like we are basically destroying their habitats. Why I'm saying the habitat is actually declining. So you will see always they are mostly in the paddy fields.
Yes, yes.
So they keep on hunting like crabs and snakes and fishes. So they enter. They do not enter very deep waters. So they are always in the shallow water, which basically helps them to hunt down, hunt fishes. So one of the reason is that even in city areas, like in village areas also, we have expanded our cities. Even in earlier, chalks of the villages are now small towns. So we are expanding our urban areas. So that can be one of the reasons. And at the same time also, they are not getting tall trees to do nesting. So non-availability of tall trees. And I believe we need more research to come to a conclusion why their population is declining. In case of greater adjutant stork, we know a lot of things by the effort of Dr. Purnima Devi Burman. Otherwise, in terms of lesser adjutant storks, we need more research and we need more people to come forward and take up those steps. And also, they are quite well visible. That is why you are observing their numbers. They're getting less, big bird. So actually, this is happening with all animals, all wildlife. Some are noticeable and some are non-noticeable. If I talk about bioweavers, the weavers, so we are really not thinking where our weavers have been to. So we don't really get to see weaver nests nowadays. So that may be again a reason for urbanization. So we forgot that, and anyway, these urban houses are hot, quite hot. So our old ways were much better, and those were the sustainable ways. So our roofs used to be houses for sparrows, but even they are trying to adapt if we allow them to adapt.
So can we blame urbanization, pollution and water changes for this habitat loss stuff?
I blame everything on humans.
Okay, and the human pressure also.
Yeah, that's the thing. No, like we like to see animals in TV, but we don't like to see them around. Okay, if there is an elephant around, we will try to put this explosives, like not explosive, I mean to say like this firecrackers. Okay, we'll try to chase them away by firecrackers. We try to chase them away by fires or beating drums. So like I can understand that they damage your crops, but the thing is that there are ways to come in a sustainable way. Like there are ways to coexist. Animals are coexisting. They are trying to coexist. So if you have seen those videos from Golaghat, there was a lady who was weaving in her veranda area, and there was a herd of elephant that was moving just in front of her house without damaging anything. So wildlife, they also understand. They also have this, especially animals like elephants, they are very social animals. They are very emotional animals. The thing is that we also need to understand them. They try to understand. It's not like that they don't understand at all. They also try to understand, but we need to understand. We need to take those sustainable steps. And here, everybody has a responsibility. It is not like that only forest department has a responsibility to do. Everybody has a responsibility to do. Once upon a time, our forefathers used to kneel down when the elephant herd is moving.
Yes, yes.
And why
Seems to be a good
why do you think like our forefathers associated one animal with a god or goddess? That was a way to conserve, or that was a way to express the idea that these animals are sacred. They are important to us.
Nice. Nice to have you on our show, and thank you for enlightening us with all this conservation efforts info. We're great to have you here. Thank you for all the information. Thank you.